This next story is tragic on a few different levels. A couple of weeks ago, the Daily Mail reported that Swedish trail runner Emilia Brangefalt, who was only 21 at the time, committed suicide. The young phenom, a long-distance athlete, won bronze in 2022's Trail World Championship 40-kilometer race in Chiang Mai, and this year came fifth in a World Championship race in Innsbruck, but was forced to take an extended break from the sport after being diagnosed with an extremely high heart rate. That's the first tragedy, folks, that these days, stories of young people, especially athletes, having heart issues such as extremely high heart rates and heart attacks is somehow supposed to be perfectly normal, like it's always happened since the beginning of time. In a post shared to her Instagram account on November 4th, Brangefalt detailed the difficulties she'd been suffering both physically and mentally after being forced to take time away from the sport that she loved. "Just taking a walk is painful right now," Brangefalt wrote. "Have been to the hospital and visit the medical over 20 times, but every single blood test, EKG, cycle test is good. Still, my body is super stressed, although I have given it so much love the past months. Maybe it was too much for a 21-year-old girl to run Transvolcania 48 kilometer and WMTRC 45 kilometers with less than 1 month in between. I am super sad because running and training means so much," the athlete added. "But now, just living a normal life is difficult. I have spent more hours in bed than on my feet this past month. Maybe one day I will be back, or I won't. I hope my body can recover from this." Then, on November 13th, tragically, she took her own life. The Swedish Athletics Federation, commenting on Brangenfelt's death, said, "During her last months, Emilia felt very bad both physically and mentally. She had good support from those closest to her, but on November 13th, she ended her life." The statement also included comments from Kasia Berkowitz, the captain of the SAF, who wrote that Brangenfelt's death was so deeply tragic that she had a hard time finding words. "I didn't know Emilia personally, but have understood that she was a very nice person, a forward-thinking, lovely, talented girl with her whole life ahead of her," she added. In a tribute to his sister on Instagram, Brangenfelt's brother Adam revealed that she had sought psychiatric support on November 12th, but was unable to receive treatment due to lack of staff. That's the next tragedy: acute shortage of medical and psychiatric care. Sweden isn't alone in this. All you have to do is look at the UK or Canada as shining examples of this as well. Now, while there have always been shortages to some degree, it seems that the situation has especially worsened over the past 3 years. Kind of wonder why. The challenge with a predominantly government-funded universal healthcare system is that it can collapse under inordinate demand. Demand due to immigration, for example, added undue stress, a pandemic perhaps. It can also be impacted by healthcare professionals exiting the field due to disability, death, early retirement, or ideological differences, which seems universally high these days across the globe, especially in Western nations. Adam paid tribute to his sister's sporting abilities as well as her passion, adding, "Your love for your sport and being able to move was indescribable, a love for sports that we have always shared. All the hundreds of kilometers we skied, all the jumps we made, and all the nice memories we created through movement. But love is difficult when your love for what you loved most painfully rips you from you and your body. You couldn't take it anymore." That brings us to our final tragedy of the story. First, that as adults, we must prepare young people for the stark reality that life doesn't come with the promise of your best life now 24/7. I'm sure Emilia was no stranger to hard work or adversity, given the amount of training she did. But what it looks like she hadn't been prepared for was what happens when you make an idol out of your body and it betrays you. It seems her joy, love, and purpose came from her training and competing, And when she couldn't do that anymore, she didn't want to live anymore. In a world that's constantly telling people, young people especially, to simply search for purpose, meaning, and joy, either from within or seek it from idols they create to worship, it's only bound to end in disaster, as every self-created idol eventually lets you down. Now, this is the part, well, I'll get a little religious, and you can tune in or tune out. As a follower of Jesus Christ, he's supposed to be my only idol. Why? Because he's the only one who won't let me down, unlike all the others, including myself. Knowing this truth, could it have helped Emilia face this very difficult time in her life? Don't know. As first off, I didn't know Emilia. And second, who can ever get into someone else's head? But knowing that she was wonderfully created by the same God that created the universe, a God who not only loved her, but desired to have a relationship with her, one who didn't measure her by how far and fast she could run, who reminded her daily that her true purpose and calling in life was to live a life that would glorify him, and that was enough. Well, I personally can't see how that could have hurt her. Anyway, I do appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Please share the story with others. Feel free to comment as always. You can also follow me on my Rumble and my Locals account. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. You can follow me at Camera612, and I will see you next time.